backstage at the Salford Lowry to get a few words with the great comedian Suzi Ruffell. Hi Suzi, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for coming into this very glamorous dressing room.
You're partway through your Nocturnal Tour. How's it going?
It's going really well. I started doing the show in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Festival for a month. I did that in August and then did a few tour dates in the autumn, and then, yeah, as you say, I'm about halfway through. It's been really fun. I've been all over the country. I was just telling you about how much driving I'd been doing. So I've been all over the shop, but it's been brilliant. The audiences have been really lovely.
You are a Southerner by birth. Are the Manchester folk better?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I mean, I'm playing to a Manchester crowd tonight, so I should say... I mean, the thing is, generally wherever you go, the audiences are pretty good. I think that if I say that the Northerners have a better sense of humour, I'll get too much stick at home. So I'll say that everyone is lovely.
How did you get into comedy?
I was doing some acting, and I say I was doing some acting, I was trying to do some acting and I wasn't getting very much work, and that's the truth of it. And so one of my best friends said to me, well, you're quite funny, why don't you have a go at stand-up? And that was about 10 years ago. And I just started gigging around London and going to all these open mic nights, and then it slowly became my sort of passion, and now it's been my job for quite a few years.
With you being on tour a lot, do you find it hard being away from home?
Yes, I really miss my cat, and I miss my little flat, and I miss my partner, and but it's really lovely to be able to be at the level where I can tour and the audiences will come out and watch me, and it's, you know, really wonderful that I get so many lovely people coming to the shows. But when you're away for long stretches, it does get sort of knackering, and sleeping in hotel rooms every night and not being able to go home, and yeah. And when I get home, the cat's like, where have you been? I'm like, making enough money to feed you.
Having travelled fairly extensively, what's the most memorable thing that's happened to you?
Oh my God. I mean, quite a good story is once, before I was doing my own tour, I did a lot of tour support. So I've been on tour with like Alan Carr and Josh Widdicombe and Ramesh Ranganathan and Tom Allen. And once Josh and I were in Buxton, and we stayed in a hotel that we thought was haunted, and we both got quite scared, and he rang my phone in my room, in my hotel room, and said, Ruffell, I'm absolutely terrified, we're going to have to share rooms tonight. And so that's quite funny. We were both too scared to stay in a hotel room, so I don't know what that says about me and him, but probably that we're both massive wusses.
Where do you like to gig most?
Preferably like a 10-minute walk from my house, but that theatre doesn't exist yet. So, I mean, Manchester's pretty good, Brighton's good, London's pretty good. I mean, but then you go to these sort of smaller places, and the audience is so delighted that you've gone, that it is that there's such a great sort of vibe in the room. But as I was saying to you before, I was at the Manchester Store last night. That's always really fun, and yeah, Brighton has a particularly good comedy club as well.
You are openly gay. Do people react to you differently at all?
No, I don't think anymore. I think certainly when I was younger, or before I came out, or before I was out in sort of a more public way where I talk about it on TV, I think that occasionally I get a little bit of shit on Twitter from people, or people will be idiots, but generally no, which is a good thing, thank God. I think once upon a time it would have been very different for people, but for me, I'm very lucky that a lot of people paved the way before me.
You have toured with some really big names in comedy, including Alan Carr. What's he really like off stage?
Absolutely lovely, and just as nice as he is on stage. And he's actually sort of no different. He's really funny all the time, and really charming, and a really kind, lovely bloke. Yeah, he was actually one of the reasons that I got into stand-up, because I loved his stand-up so much. So when I got to open for him on tour, it was really cool.
Who would you most like to work with?
Oh my God, that's like the $1 million question. Oh, there's so many people. Tina Fey or Amy Poehler, or there's an American comedian called Maria Bamford or Wanda Sykes. They're all sort of American comics that I adore.
You are at the Edinburgh Festival for nearly a month. Are you performing new material for that?
Yeah, so what I'll do is this tour finishes in May, and then I've got a new show that I'm currently writing that I'll work on for June and July, and then I'll do a brand new show at the Edinburgh Fringe, so it'll be a different hour to the one that I'm doing on tour tonight, which is terrifying.
What do you like to do before you go on stage? Are there any rituals?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think there's... I always look at my show is sort of written on paper here, like that's the show, and I've been carrying this around for nearly a year, and I'll look at it even though I've done the show like 100 times, and I'll look through it, and I'll have a peek at the audience, and then hope for the best.
You have done TV work in the past. Is that something you would like to get into?
Yeah, I've done a fair bit of telly. I'm sort of shooting bits and pieces quite a bit at the moment, which is really exciting. And I did Live at the Apollo last year. I love doing the telly stuff. It's really exciting, and it's a really fun thing to do. And you get to work with other comics as well, which, as you've just seen, you've come here tonight and sort of a bit lonely on your own, touring around the country. So when you get to work with other comics, it's really exciting.
People probably aren't aware that you do some gigs between big shows such as Manchester Comedy Store. Is this for extra publicity, or are you saving up for something?
No, I'm. The thing is, well, I'm always saving up for something because these shirts don't buy themselves. But if you're in town and a nice comedy club asks you to do an extra gig, then you just go and pop on. You're asking because I'm doing the tour show here tonight and then jumping in a cab and going and doing the store. But that does sort of make it a bit more exciting. You're like, oh, going all over the town, doing different gigs.
I like to tell jokes, mainly bad ones. Can I try some of my favourite liners to see if you approve?
Yes, I'd love you to. Please do.
Never buy shoes off a drug dealer. I did. I've been tripping all day.
Very good.
My dog used to chase people on a bike. It got so bad I had to take his bike away from him.
That's good.
I went into a library and asked for a book about paranoia. The librarian said they're right behind you. That's the end of the interview. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming to interview me.